and welcome to a new video in which I will be tier ranking all the love interests in the books I've read this year. According to the data, I have read 71 books this year. That being said, I'm only tier ranking 23 love interests in this video because I do stand in front of you at the humble age of 22. So I will not be ranking anybody younger than me, especially not in a YA book, because that makes me quite uncomfortable. The video, I have my iPad to the side of me, is very much inspired by Read with Cindy. I'm even using the same tier ranks as her. I feel like they're quite fitting and they make sense for this video. So without further ado, the tier ranks are. The very first tier rank, highest, is Put a Ring on Me. I cannot imagine having like a bad day or just having like just wanting to be alone, and then you go home and there's somebody there and you like share a room and stuff like that. So me being willing to marry somebody is quite the compliment, if I may say so. So that's the first one. Second one, Put Your D in Me. Because sometimes you don't want to marry somebody, but you think they're a good time, okay? And then Give Me Some Drinks first, because like maybe if I weren't as conscious as I am right now, maybe that's not, you know what I mean. I don't need to really explain this. Let's just be friends. Sometimes you read a book and you're like, oh, you guys are a great fit together, not for me. And finally, we have restraining order. But some people actually need to be put behind bars. I don't get how it's a romance. We are gonna start with the order of books I read, like from the beginning. The very first book I read this year actually was The Most Famous Girl in the World by Iman, hariri, and I speak about this book all the time on my bookstagram. You should follow me. I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't remember the guy's name. I do remember that he's insane. He's like kind of psychotic, but he matches Rose's, like the main character's freak, in ways that have not been done before. Like, she's insane, but he's also insane. Like, they're both batshit actually, if you think about it. And I love them for each other. That being said, would I marry him? No. No, I would not. So he is gonna have to just put his D in me. Like, we're just gonna have some fun together. I don't know. It's hitting me right now that there might be family members watching this. Certain family members, I don't care if you're watching this, I love you and you're gonna match my freak. Other family members might not match my freak. So yeah, you are gonna go into the very top? No, into the second tier. I don't remember. What was the guy's name? The next one's called The Unmaking of Judith Farrow. I read this one also very early in the year, and I had a bit of issues in the book because it's a time travel in which she goes back to, I think, like the 50s or something, and she has to make the choice of whether to stay in the past or go to the present. And I, as a woman of color, have my own things with it. Like, I think the guy's nice. I'm not really giving it a grade. I feel like there's not really much that you can say about this book without like kind of spoiling. I didn't really like him, but also him and June have such a lovely relationship. If we put all, like, you know, ignoring the fact that this book would not work for anybody other than white people, like, I don't know, they had such a good relationship. It was so lovely, and I wouldn't want to interfere with that. I wouldn't want to come between them. So I think I'm just gonna be friends with this guy. I also cannot remember that men do not mean much to me. I have done research before doing this, possibly, but y'all know I love to YOLO it out here. So I am gonna have to just be friends with this guy. I'd get a drink with him at the pub, but that's where it ends. My next book is How You Get the Girl by Anita Kelly. It is sapphic, and I am gonna have to, I might need a few drinks. Again, I don't really remember much. I do think that the love interest and I would get along well because we both like basketball, we both like talking about basketball. I love watching sports, even though I don't do it often. But when I do it, I'm like, I get intense. But also, I don't know if I would be like actively friends with them. Like, I'd be an acquaintance with them. So within the ranks that we've, like the tiers that I've decided upon, I would have to say Give Me a Few Drinks, because I do remember thinking that the characters were a little bit boring, and I don't like boring people. I next have Out of the Woods by Hannah Bonam Young, which, if you know, you know. Sarah and Caleb are my babies. The two books in this, like, they're standalones, but in this series, Out of the Woods and Out on a Limb are just like my loves, I love them. And it's kind of like what I was saying earlier with June Farah, that like I truly think Caleb and Sarah are soulmates. Like I would not want to come between them. However, if Sarah weren't in the picture, Caleb, I will get down on one knee for Caleb. He is the most perfect book husband, and he is the most perfect, loving, caring, gentle, supportive partner that anyone could ask for. I really don't want to like, I wish I could just be like spoil everything about the book and be like, he does this and he does that, and he's just, I love him so dearly, and it's just by the fact that I remember his name. I want to marry Caleb. I want to put a ring on him and lock him down. Like, I think I would play Dungeons and Dragons with him. That's how you know I'm serious. Spiral by Khabra, the book that made me spiral, the book that made me want to end it all. Eli, a la poubelle. I actually don't really mind him. Like, I love women. I love to support women. But between Eli and Sage, I would hang out with him. Again, according to the tiers that we have, I would have a few drinks and then maybe have a good time with him. And that's where I draw the line. I don't want to be friends with him. I don't want him in my life. However, he's not like a bad person or a bad character that I would want to put behind bars. But he's just so bland. And she's even more bland. I keep on saying this, but I seriously need to just like sit down and make my spiral hate video. I need to actually just like speak my truth. So yeah, a la poubelle. Next I have Let the Games Begin by Rufaru Faith Mazarura. I'm gonna say the same thing. I didn't really find this character that interesting. He felt quite flat for me. He is an Olympian, and I do want to be a wag. So maybe... No, I'm not gonna do that to myself. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. In this economy, being the partner of an Olympian athlete sounds fun. However, if it had, like, capitalism aside, if it came to the heart, the matters of the heart, I'm gonna need a few drinks, have fun with this guy, and never see him again. Because again, he was quite boring. I can only remember, like, one scene that, like, he stuck out to me, and I'm like, I want to be, but, like, even then, I would just want to be friends with him. But he is gonna go to the rank of a few drinks though, because I feel like he would annoy me if he were my friend. Like, I'd like, stop yapping. Silence. First Time Caller by BK Borison. I'm gonna put a ring on every finger. Oh, Aiden. Okay, here's my thing. I love this book, okay? I love Aiden, I love Lucy, I love every single character in this book. I love them so dearly. That being said, if Aiden were real, and if I were real, and we were partners or friends, or like, you know, getting into a relationship, I do think he would piss me off a bit. I think there would be moments where I would have to like grab him by his shoulders and shake him and be like, man, stand up. You're pissing me off. And rule number 1, don't piss me off. That being said, I can overlook some things. And I think that's very real. Like, he's very, very human. And I think BK Borison has always had the skill of writing really human characters. I'm going to talk about this in her other book that she's published this year, Good Spirits, where like the main character is a ghost but still feels painfully human. So actually, Aiden, move aside. Lucy, put a ring on it. I'm in love with him and everything. Actually, hold on. I actually bought the physical copy after I had already read the EPUB, so I didn't like physically reread the whole thing, which I really want to do, but I went to some of my favorite parts and just tapped them right away because I wanted to always be able to go back and revisit it. She calls him adorable and he says, please stop calling me adorable. Cute, you're still crushing on me. I look at her out of the corner of my eye, obviously. They're so cute and everything to me. My next book is The Wedding People, and you know what? I have mixed emotions because I do like, it's a bit hard to explain this without like spoiling the book. I think the love interest is interesting. I think he's a good person who's made bad decisions. Again, is very human. I think I'm going through the tiers in my mind, and I think I would just want to be friends with him because he is such a good partner to the main character, who is really depressed. Like, the whole book's about her depression, and her struggling with it at the end. And he's really kind and gentle and caring, which is like it's a reliable trait set to have in a person. However, I wouldn't want to be with him romantically at all. I don't know if I would want to actively be friends with him either. But going through the ranks, I don't think, is he on the older side? Yeah, I'm not really into that. I'm just gonna say friends, but I'm really gonna like brush this off, you know? When I think of you, Maya Ariel, honestly, I should probably do like a full-on review for this one. I don't like this guy. I don't. How do I say this in a way that doesn't make me sound like an extreme hypocrite? I want to say I don't like rich people, but also I'm obsessed with a series about billionaires, so I don't really have a leg to stand on, full honesty. But he kind of pisses me off. The nepotism reeks. And I think if you're gonna be a nepotism baby, you need to own it, and you need to acknowledge it and be aware of it. It appears I've given it 4 stars, but I remember not really liking it. Maybe I should go back and bump it down to a 4 stars. I actually do have a review of this on my Instagram. I'm gonna say a few drinks. Like, it's kind of like a get it over with. I definitely don't want to be friends with him. Again, he pissed me off. By no means am I marrying him or having fun with him sober. I think I'm gonna need to be out of it. So yeah. No, he's by no means behind bars though. Scot and Bothered by Alexandra, Kiley. I actually might marry this guy. I actually might. Hold on. So actually the main character of this book is called Jack, and I don't really like the name Jack, so that's a bit of an issue. Imagine just never getting with a love of your life because their name is Jack. But this book was interesting because I did not think I would really like it. It's about 2 people going through a trail, like they're hiking a really difficult trail. There's a lot of mud, terrain, outdoors stuff, which are usually not the markers of a book that I enjoy. And I definitely did not expect to sob my way throughout the last 10%. I think like this book truly reached into my chest, grabbed my heart, ripped it out, gave it a soft kiss, and then gave it back to me. It also deals a lot with anticipatory, did I say that right? Like anticipated grief, and like how like anticipating grief isn't actually a thing. Like, it's gonna hit you just as hard no matter for how long you know that the person is going to pass away. And I felt it, y'all. And I think I would marry Jack actually, because I think we would make such a good couple. I think we have very similar interests, very similar personalities, and but we would still complement each other. My only issue is if he wants me to go on a hike, I can't do that. I don't believe in the outdoors. I don't do outdoors. I will be sick and I might throw up and I might have to be carried home, and I don't want to put beloved Jack through that. But also I truly think like him and Brooke are just like soulmates. And again, I don't want to get in between that. Like, I love you guys together and I don't want to get in between it, but if I had to, I think I might marry him actually. I also noticed that I skipped a book accidentally, which is Beg, Borrow, what's it called? Beg, Borrow, or Steal by Sarah Adams. I don't like Sarah Adams' writing. I don't know what possessed me to force my way through this book. I'm gonna put him behind bars actually. I'm gonna put him behind bars. Even though I don't really, like, my problems with the main character more than the guy, but I'm gonna put him behind bars because he pissed me off throughout the whole book. And that's rule number 1, don't piss me off.
Don't piss me off.
It really is. There's this scene where, like, because they're enemies to lovers, and they're both primary school. You're primary school teachers. Why do you have an enemy? I say as a high school teacher with many nemesis. This whole town is incredibly mean to him just because she doesn't like him, and she's like the town's like beloved darling. Huh? Imagine the place you live in. You go to that cafe and they like give you like burnt milk in your drink or something just because what's her face doesn't like you. Grow up. Be for real. Next book is Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry, and I'm gonna say it. I don't even remember what the guy's name was. It might have been Holden. I'm gonna say I don't think I know the guy. I think we went through quite the long book. I know Alice, not well, but I know her. I know Margaret. I don't know him, and that's why, like, by the end of the book when they're like, I love you to each other, I'm like, you don't know each other. you know each other a month, which like, yeah, like sometimes books take place over 2 weeks, and by the end they're like, I love you, and I'm like, I believe it. But this one, I was like, it still feels like there's quite a space between me and the guy. I don't feel like I know him. I don't feel like I trust him. I'm gonna say maybe have a few drinks. Moving on. Promise Me Sunshine by Cara Bastone. If you watch me on Instagram, you might remember that I once posted a video of me crying. If I have a video, I'll play it.
I don't know if you can hear me because I am literally in the middle of the road. Just got off the bus and I need to walk home because I've been crying nonstop about reading Promise Me Sunshine. Don't read it on the bus. This old man literally was like, "You're gonna be okay," and I was getting off. Yeah, just don't read it on the bus. That's my sage advice. And now I have to walk home and meet my mother and pretend like I haven't been sobbing about a fictional book on the bus.
Do not read this book on the bus because I sobbed on the bus, and this old man turned to me and went, "You're gonna be alright." I was like, no, I'm not, because this book, you know how earlier I said Scott and Bothered ripped my heart out, kissed it, gave it back. This one ripped my heart out, stomped on it, squashed it, wrangled it, kissed it, and I gave it back. I haven't seen a single negative review for this book, and if I do, it's by illiterate people. Not kidding, I'm kidding, I respect opinions, I do. But, oh, I'm tearing up just thinking of it. I don't know how one character, the main character, felt so loved by him that she said he walked into hell and dragged me out. I'm actually tearing up. Wow. But I don't know how a character can be described like that and you don't want me to fall in love. So Miles, put a ring on me, please. Actually, drag me out of hell, heal me, and then put a ring on me. I want to do some healing. I feel like I want to heal before I get with Miles, because I love him so dearly and he deserves somebody that can love him wholeheartedly. No, because I'm actually getting really emotional right now. The next book is Rewind It Back by Liz Tomford, and I forgot I have written a book review for this one. Remember how I said that I don't like billionaires, but I'm also a hypocrite and I don't have a leg to stand on? I am the friend that's too woke, and I think Rio in this book pissed me off like no other, which is really upsetting because I was looking forward to this book for a very long time. I have right move right up there. Can you see it? It's one of my absolute favorite books. I've loved Caught Up, I loved Play Along, but this book just pissed me off. And I will say there's a scene quite early in the book where Rio says to, I can't remember if her name is Haley or Holly, but she's basically his interior designer, and she's staring at her clock the whole time because he's late to a meeting, and he thinks she's going on a date, so he keeps her there for like 3 additional hours, when in reality she had her second job to get to. And that scene on its own just like drove me insane. I'm like, how entitled does one man get to just like do that to a person? Like, you just kept her back, and her boss, which I get, bosses suck, her boss was like, well, we have to accommodate him, he's like our richest client, whatever. You claim you love this woman, and like, yeah, he's jealous. I also, mild spoiler, this book does have the like subtrope of like he's had a tattoo for her this whole time, which I find a very, very creepy trope. Don't have a tattoo for me if I haven't spoken to you in 10 years. Especially if you've gotten the tattoo in my absence. If you got a tattoo when we were together and then we broke up, and then I meet you 10 years later, I'm like, you still have the tattoo, you didn't remove it? Maybe I might think that's cute. But like, we haven't seen each other in 3 years. You get the tattoo, 5 years later we meet again. And I'm like, you had a tattoo for me all this time. Creepy. Actually put him behind bars. Actually, yeah. I get, that scene happens like the job scene happens quite early in the book, and I just couldn't. I finished the book because I do love the series and I do really enjoy Liz Tomford's book. I'm so excited for her next book. It comes out on my birthday. But I could not do it. I actually could not do it. My next book is Our Wives Under the Sea. This book, oh my god, what a good book. If I can recommend you one book from all the books I've discussed today, read this one. It's really good. It's sad, so look that up first. The love interest, I'm actually gonna consider the main character the love interest in this book, not Leah. I would marry her and just hug her and give her so much love and Care. This is a character whose wife went on a, I don't know what it's called, but like a submarine mission to like discover new water life, aquatic life. I don't know what the like water terms are. Again, I don't mess with nature. And she comes back changed and different, and our main character is trying to, you know, figure out how to live with that and how to live with a Leia who's not actually her Leia. Like she is, but she's not. It's a sad book, and I cried. And I read it despite the fact that I don't mess with water and I don't like the ocean and the sea and all that, and I still read this book because it was so compelling. It's quite a short book, it's not a long one. Wow. I want to marry her just so I can give her all the love she deserves. That being said, if that's not a good enough reason to marry somebody, I would love to be her friend. I feel like we would have such a good time together when we're not both really sad. My next one is Ride With Me by Simone Sultani. I'm gonna say give me a few drinks because I don't really have an opinion on this guy. Again, he's an F1 driver. I would want to be a wag. I've said it many times, especially an F1 wag. Oh, I would love to be an F1 wag. But then on a realistic note, I don't like this guy. I think, again, I'm too woke for those rich people stuff. And this book is funny to me because it's like, yeah, he's really rich, but it's fine because she's richer. I'm like, donate some of that money, y'all. I would have a good time because from the smutty scenes in those books, he's a good time. But that's it. Would I need a few drinks? I don't think I would need a drink. I think we just have a good time, and then I leave, and I never see him again. Unless he wants to give me tickets to an F1 race, but I don't have to go with him. Yeah. I'm gonna move on to Witch's Guide to Magical Inkeeping. Put as many rings on me as you'd like. He's a wizard, he's a historian, his little sister's autistic and he loves her dearly, and I'm autistic and he'll love me dearly. And he's so endearing and intelligent and kind, and I want to marry him, and that's all I have to say, really. I also do have Burn Bright by Kristen Becker-Ritchie, which Ben is 19, and technically it is an adult book, like it does have spice in it and stuff. I'm not very comfortable being 22 and 19. That being said, I do want to say something just because I think it's really funny. Ben has OCD, the like mental compulsion kind, rather than the like physical obsessive compulsive kind. I have the same exact OCD. We would be terrible together. We would be horrible. We would actually destroy the earth if we were together. It would be so bad. Two people with the same exact obsessive anxiety, it would spiral so fast. I'm tier ranking my all the love interests I've read this year. It's gonna be a funny video, you should watch it. Love is a war song by Danica Nava, and I had mixed opinions on this one because I really didn't like the main character, but I did like the love interest. I just don't think seeing him from the main character's perspective did him a lot of justice. It is a romance, and I do think he's around 25 or so, but they both felt quite young to me. Like, he's a cowboy, he's meant to be like strong and rugged and stuff, but I still felt, I don't, like they hated each other for so long. One conversation and it's fine, like nothing ever happened, and then they're like sleeping together and then they've moved on, and I don't, like, the book was just like, the timeline was weird, the pacing was weird. I didn't like the main character at all. And so again, I just don't think she did him enough justice. So I might be friends with him. Like, I would like to go line dancing with him. I would like to hang out with the horses with him. But I don't have an opinion on him. Again, if I get to know him, I think I might like him, but I don't know him. Sorry, I just saw what the next book is. People watching my Hannah When I'm Young. Did I make a 4-minute rant video about this one? Did I write a caption that was so hateful that I had to edit it and I had to post it as photos instead of an actual caption because it was too long? Yes, I did. I hate this book. This man should actually be behind bars. For me personally, and I know many people have agreed with me, he feels like a predator. He does. He is creepy and disgusting, and I would not feel safe in the same space around him. I would not let my 15-year-old sister be in the same room as him. And that's all you need to know. Nothing redeems him. Him having abusive parents, and so he's like, he distracts himself with sex and stuff. Not a redeeming quality at all. Genuinely cannot stand this man. I hate him so much. I'm gonna move on to 32 Days in May by Betty Corrello. I read this book on vacation, which is a mistake. Do not read this on vacation. I was sobbing so hard, and like, I was sobbing like this because my little sister was sleeping in bed with me and I didn't want to wake her up. So our main character in this book has lupus, and she essentially treats it as a death sentence that she's received. And she meets her main guy. And he's so loving and so caring and so understandable and reliable. And his like final big love speech at the end of the book didn't make me sob. I think grand gestures obviously are a common thing in romance books. The big finale speech of like, I love you, I'm in love with you, yada yada, can get repetitive at one point. If it's done well, even if it's repetitive, it's good, whatever. But this one just felt so special, and his character shone through so clearly that I was like, I would trust this man with my life. So put a ring on it. Tahereh, a love story by Catherine Walsh. This was an arc, so it's not out until the 10th of March. That's 4 months from now. I want to be friends with this guy. I think we would be really good friends. His name is Sam. I don't like the name Sam. I do think I would love to hang out with this guy in a pub with a drink and just talk about dragons and fantasy books and being a fangirl. This book does follow Sam, who's an editor who is a massive fan of this author who has now passed away, and his daughter is writing the finale for the big series, and he gets basically sent to Ireland to be Kira's editor. The book is set in Ireland, do I have to say anymore? I really do think we would just be lads, you know? Just lads. My next book, Assistant to the Villain, and I would love to marry Tristan. I would love to marry Tristan. I would love to have fun with Tristan. I would love to fool around with Tristan. However, Tristan is Evie's and Evie's only. I went to a book signing with Nicole maehrer, and she said that like Tristan would only ever be on Tinder if he heard that Evie was on Tinder, so he would download it and then like try their best to like match with her. And I'm just like, how can I get in between that? He is Evie's and Evie's is his, and that's it. Would I be friends with this guy? I feel like the villain needs to be on his own ranking, because he wouldn't be friends with me. I would love to be friends with him. I would love to work in the office with them. Not actually do work, just like watch and hang out with them. I am gonna say be friends. He wouldn't be friends with me though. But still. I've also read Accomplice to the Villain, and so that falls under the same category. Female fantasy, iman, hariri. There are two kind of love interests. There's Nico, and then there's the love interest in the book that the main character reads. I am gonna speak on Nico. It pains me to say that I don't like him. Has a bit of like that childish feel where he's like, oh, I only do this to like kind of like a little boy tugging on her hair to get her attention, but in reality he's actually hurting her. I'm gonna put him behind bars actually. I didn't like him at all. And she's like, oh, he only makes fun of me to get my attention, because he always looks down on her for reading romance books a lot. And then she gives him this big declaration speech where she's like, I love romance because it makes me feel, and I love romance because of this and because of that. And he goes, wow, I've never thought of it this way, I'm really sorry. But you mean to tell me that that's her brother's best friend that they grew up with, and he's never heard her make this speech about romance? He must have heard her speak highly of romance, and he still didn't care. I don't know, it felt like one of those cases where he was like, oh, now he's attracted to her, so he's nice to her. And I didn't like that, so I am gonna put him behind Joe. I am gonna put This Woven Kingdom and These Infinite Threads and the third book, I can't remember what it was called, together. I am not gonna speak on Cameron just because I don't really have much opinion on him. I think he's quite the bland character, which I think he's written that way on purpose. The only thing that irks me is whenever he compares women together. Like, he compares every single woman to Elisa, which is such ick. And so personally, I just put him behind bars because I hate men. Cyrus though does meet the very high standards, and he needs to put a ring on me right now. But again, it's one of those cases where I'm like, Cyrus and Elisa, soulmates. I cannot get between that. Cyrus would not want me. There is nothing in the world that I could do that could make this man love me the way he loves Elise. So I am gonna say put him in any rank, really, other than obviously the jail one. I didn't say I could put him in any rank. I'm gonna say be my friend, because I think this guy does need a friend. I would love to hang out with him in other ways. Again, I don't think he will have me. I've also recently read, this is my last book, Good Spirits by B.K. Borison, which is not my favorite B.K. Borison book, which is fine because I have so many of her books I adore so dearly. I think I would be friends with Nolan, and kind of like one of the biggest motifs in this book is that he and Harriet were always meant to find each other, and they're meant to be. So it's not like with Cyrus and Elisa, I'm like, I just want to sit in the back and like watch you guys be cute together, which is creepy, but I do. Whereas with this one, I'm like, I'm just gonna let you guys do your thing. I'm not even gonna attempt to interfere. But again, not friends, I would be friendly. Okay, so these are all the age-appropriate books that I read this year that include a love interest, and I clearly have strong opinions on many, so do let me know if you've read any of them and what you think about them, and if you disagree strongly with any of my opinions, that would be interesting. And if you've watched this far, let me know if you want the spiral hate video. If it's long and you've made it this far, I love you. I appreciate you, and I will see you in my next video. Please make sure to go follow my Bookstagram and my TikTok if you'd like. I am trying my best to get some arcs, and I could appreciate the followers. Anyways, bye!